The weight of a secret Mara sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the family photo that hung on the wall. A snapshot of laughter and love, a moment frozen in time. In the picture, her husband, Tom, had his arms wrapped around her and their daughter, Lily, who was just a baby then. Tom's eyes sparkled with joy, completely unaware of the secret that lurked behind Mara's smile. It had been 10 years since she'd made the decision that now felt like an anchor dragging her deeper into the sea of guilt. When she had found out she was pregnant, her world had shifted. Tom had always wanted children, but the child she was carrying wasn't his. The truth was a sharp blade, and it cut through her heart with every heartbeat. In a moment of fear and desperation, she had made a choice that spiraled into a decade-long lie. She convinced herself it was for the best. Tom adored Lily as if she were his own. She had never seen him happier than when he held her, coaxing giggles from her tiny frame. Mara thought, perhaps naively, that love could erase the truth. Yet every day was a struggle. The guilt loomed over her like a dark cloud. It whispered in her ear during quiet moments, reminding her of the deception. She'd watch Tom with Lily, how he'd teach her to ride a bike, help her with school projects, and tell her stories of bravery and adventure. Each loving moment was a dagger to Mara's heart. How could she let him believe that he was the father of a child who belonged to someone else? Lily was so much like Tom, with his bright eyes and easy laugh. The resemblance made it all the more difficult to bear. As she tucked her daughter into bed each night, she found herself lost in thoughts of what could happen if the truth ever came out. Would Tom feel betrayed? Would he hate her? The guilt festered and grew, pushing Mara into a state of isolation. She couldn't share her burden with anyone. The fear of judgment and the potential fallout kept her silent. Even when friends would comment on how wonderful their family was, she would smile, but inside she felt the walls closing in. One evening after a particularly sweet dinner, Tom caught her gaze. "What's wrong, love?" he asked, concern etching his features. Mara wanted to scream the truth, to confess everything, but the words stuck in her throat. Instead, she smiled, shaking her head. "Just tired," she replied, but the words felt hollow. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, until the weight of her secret became unbearable. Mara knew she couldn't keep living this way. She had to find a way to tell Tom, to come clean about Lily's parentage. But how? The thought of shattering his world made her stomach twist. On a rainy afternoon, as the sky wept outside, Mara sat down with a pen and paper, pouring her heart into a letter. Every word felt like a confession, each sentence a plea for forgiveness. She wrote about her love for Tom, her fear of losing him, and how deeply she regretted the lie that had taken root between them. As she sealed the envelope, a wave of fear washed over her. Would he understand? Could their love withstand such a storm? That night, with a heavy heart, she placed the letter on his pillow, hoping it would guide him through the maze of emotions she had built around them. The next morning, she woke to find Tom sitting on the edge of the bed, the letter crumpled in his hands. His expression was unreadable, and her heart raced with anxiety. "Why didn't you tell me?" he whispered, his voice thick with hurt. Mara sat beside him, tears spilling down her cheeks. "I was scared," she admitted, her voice trembling. "I thought I was protecting you, protecting us." Tom's silence felt like a chasm between them, a distance she had never imagined. But as he looked into her eyes, she saw the flicker of something else. Understanding, perhaps, or the first sparks of healing. "I love you, Mara," he said finally, his voice steadier. "This hurts, but we'll find a way through." In that moment, she knew they would face the truth together, however painful. The weight of her secret was lifted, and though the road ahead would be difficult, it was paved with honesty and love. They would rebuild, brick by brick, stronger than before.